What's up, guys? It's Ben with 2020 election predictions, and today I'm very excited to kind of do a review of the 538 2020 Senate election forecast. I've been waiting for this for a while, and it's finally come. I've referenced the presidential model at 538 a lot because I think it's very, very useful, and I'm waiting for this to come out, and I'm very, very excited to come out. So, without further ado, this is what 538 is saying. They think that in 42% of scenarios that the Republicans will win control, and that in 58% of scenarios that the Democrats will win control. And I've looked at this only for about 30 minutes because it just came out, but I want to kind of offer some commentary on this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do right here so you can check out all my new videos there. So without further ado, kind of these are my opinions. I mean, I think that it is fair to say that right now the Senate is pretty much a pure toss up. However, I don't necessarily agree with the range of outcomes right here, and I really hope that they kind of adjust this as we get closer right now. In my current Senate projections, I only see one kind of toss-up state, and that is the state of North Carolina. I see Iowa and Montana as leaning towards the Republicans, and I see as Maine as leaning towards the Democrats. So if we only have really like one toss-up state that can like go either way, then I don't see like why there's an 11% chance that the Republicans have 52 or an 11% chance that the Democrats have 50 or 52 as well. I would like to see this middle one that's about a 15% chance be a lot higher. I think that there's about a 50% chance that there's a 50-50 tie in the Senate. So that's one thing that I have a critique. One reason why I think kind of this bell curve is a little kind of more fat and not like more skinny, which was how I think it should be. If y'all have taken any statistics class, but I think as we get closer, as we get more polls out, that I think it might start to look like this because I think it's going to the range is going to be within 51 seats either way, and I really don't see the Democrats winning 54 seats or the Republicans keeping their 53 seats. So let's kind of just go on the state by state level. I'll kind of tell you some of the projections that I like, and then some maybe that I don't like as much. So I think in the state of Arizona, I think this is a very good projection. I think that Mark Kelly is going to run away with this, and it's been pretty constant over time. So even though that Martha McSally is the incumbent here, she's not really a true incumbent. She's never got elected by the people of Arizona. She had the chance in 2018. It didn't happen. She was appointed. So there you go. And being appointed is very different, as we can see in the state of Georgia in the primary challenge. While Kelly Loeffler does have an advantage over Doug Collins right now, I think it is very possible that Doug Collins wins this, and it's because Kelly Loeffler was appointed. And as we've seen in many examples, sometimes the voters will punish the appointed people because they don't like them as much. We saw this with Luther Strange in Alabama. Roy Moore won the primary and handed it to a Democrat, which was in Doug Jones. This is one other state where I don't necessarily agree with it right here. I think that Tommy Tiriel probably has above a 73% chance to win. We can see that there's no polls where Doug Jones is leading, and we see that Tiriel is up by like 17, and he's getting above 52%. So I mean, I really you rarely find polls that have someone over 50% consistently and lose. Most of the polls, I mean, even if someone is up double digits, if they're at like 48, 49, 50%, I mean, you really kind of have to price that in when you're making these projections. One thing that I was looking at recently, and this was only on the Senate model, this isn't on the presidential model, you can kind of change with how you do it. So if we look at fundraising polls and past voting patterns, this gets closer. But if we only look at the polls, I mean, come on. Tommy Tiriel, I think this is a 90-10 is definitely more accurate. And if we look at the predicted things, I mean, we can see this is pretty likely too. And I think overall that the betting odds are probably going to be more accurate than the forecast, but I think it's also just pretty interesting to look. And I'm gonna just do the deluxe because that's kind of what the default is, and I think it's important to kind of look at polls, fundraising, past voter patterns, and also the expert ratings because I think the experts are probably going to be the most right. In 2016, they were definitely wrong, but I think the experts at 538 were less wrong than some of the ones overall. So looking right here, I'm a little bit surprised that they're giving Corey Gardner such a great chance. And if we kind of flip between the models, um, I mean, I guess that the expert ratings just think that the incumbency effect is going to be more. But I mean, we can see it. Hickenlooper's up by double digits, and I guess it has gotten a little bit closer. But we can see over time that I really think that Colorado is going to be like closer to kind of Arizona in terms and I think that John Hickenlooper is going to win by more than Mark Kelly is, and we can see this reflected in the predicted. So I definitely agree with him more here. Okay, I've been kind of waiting on this for a while. The biggest shock that I've found in this model is in the state of Maine, where they give Susan Collins a 47% chance to win. And if this model had been released a week earlier, we would see that Susan Collins had a 60% chance to win, which I mean, I just really don't see right now. I mean, if we look at the polls, Gideon is like the clear leader. Over time, Gideon isn't getting above 50%. So I mean, I don't think that we can say that. I mean, she's the obvious winner. And I mean, when Susan Collins is getting under 40% in some of these polls, this isn't accurate. Susan Collins, when she's won in the past, and kind of if we look at the past voting patterns, she's been ahead. I mean, she's won by double digits a lot. Um, we can see that if we just focus on the polls, this is Gideon. I mean, I disagree with this some, but I also kind of like that they're like pricing in past results because I think it will matter. This is one where I'm actually probably more sympathetic to the 538 model than the predicted model just because like I think right now it's about a 60-40. So I definitely still think that it leans towards Sarah Gideon, the Democrat, but I definitely don't think it's at like 70-30 just yet. So I think this will kind of be the biggest surprise or kind of the headline on this video coming out. The state that I think is going to be the closest, North Carolina, they have Cunningham is slightly favored, but it is getting closer. I really think this is going to be a state that, like, I disagree with the 538 model right now that has Trump ahead or that has Biden ahead. I think Trump's going to win North Carolina, and I think he has a huge potential to kind of just drag Tom Tillis across the finish line. But we will definitely see about that. Moving on, looking at some more states. Montana, I agree with this that Steve Daines probably has a lot better chance. I think that the 4% margin is probably very realistic. This is probably one of the states that I kind of agree with the most on the 538 model. Iowa, I also think it's pretty realistic too. We can see in the polls that's going kind of back and forth. But I do agree that I think President Trump's going to help her out in this state. And I mean, let's see when we kind of look at. I mean, it's close everywhere, but I do agree with the state of Iowa. So most of my disagreements might just be kind of in Colorado. I think they're underestimating John Hickenlooper, and then same with Alabama. I think they're underestimating Tommy Tuberville just because I mean these states. I mean, as we've gotten more polarized. In South Carolina, I do agree with this. There's been a kind of a lot of noise about how South Carolina is going to be so close. I mean, there's a Quinnipiac poll that had it tied. However, I think that just with President Trump on the ballot, I think he's going to campaign for Graham. I mean, Trump and Lindsey Graham are pretty tight, and I think it could very well be like a 9% margin. So That's one place where I think that you can have like a bunch of hype. Jamie Harrison got like $1 million after the poll came out. I think it's just kind of going to be a waste of money. One thing I don't necessarily agree with this. I think Kansas is going to be not as close as this. I think Roger Marshall's probably going to win this by like 10 to maybe even 20 points. I understand that Barbara Boyer is a good pickup, and we can see that in the state of Kentucky. I mean, I think that Democrats had a pipe dream that Amy McGrath might win, but really, it's not going to happen. So there you have it here. One thing that I just want to do briefly is kind of just like change the different models and see where it goes overall. I don't agree with the white model just because I don't think the Democrats are going to win 51. And then the classic model, it has the most likely outcome as being the Democrats winning 51 seats. The white model, same 51 seats. But I kind of agree with the deluxe model. Right now, I think it's going to be a 50-50 tie. And if it is a 50-50 tie, then Kamala Harris, if Joe Biden wins, which I'm projecting right now, will break the tie and the Democrats would have Senate control. But I definitely think that the Senate right now is a lot closer than the presidential race. So there you have it. I really hope you all like this video, and please comment what you think of this video in the comment section. Thanks, guys, and subscribe if you haven't already.